So if you haven't given, or you don't really know where to start on systematically giving to things, then I would suggest starting small. And that's what today's video is all about, right? It's supposed to be starting small with our giving. Well, you should definitely start in a place that you feel comfortable. Jumping in head first and really getting in there really deep can be a dangerous thing, because maybe we don't do our research on the things that we're giving to. Maybe we're not planning our giving very well, and then that can deter us from giving in the future. So maybe it's a good thing that we start small. So what we can do is we can start with some small amount that we give to something that we believe in, and continuously ramp up the amounts over time. Not necessarily consistent with increases in income, but with increases in comfortability with what we are giving to. And as we build this habit and continue to ramp up, then you can start making a bigger and bigger impact in the lives of others. And then that will make a bigger and bigger impact in your own life, and how you look at money, and how your heart is oriented around the money that you do have. And if you're saying, well, Dylan, I have a problem spending, and so any money that's there, I want to spend it, or I want to allocate it to maybe my investments, or I want to, I have a problem with putting this in my budget. How can I make this a priority? Well, in the same way that you invest, right? You set your investing up automatically. Most people do, that their investing happens automatically. Well, with your giving, maybe that should be no different. I mean, there are a lot of useful tools and apps that you can use to do some automatic saving that you can then use for your giving. So many of you have heard of apps like Acorn, Stash, Simple, Capital, Digit. Those are all apps that will automatically save some predetermined amount, weekly, monthly, daily, whatever it may be, that will allow you to build up small amounts that will get to something substantial enough that you can actually use it for something. And I think these are good tools for something like this when you're starting small, because what you can do is you can just put small amounts in every week, and then at the end of the month, then take that money and give it to the things that you said you were going to give it to. That way it is predetermined, it's preset, and it can be done automatically. Or let's say you are giving to an organization that allows you to set up contributions that will automatically be drafted out of your bank account. That's a very useful tool as well. And so that will allow you to just have that thing naturally happen, automatically happen, and really take more power out of your hands when it comes to having to look in your bank account and actually grab that money and give it to the thing that you want to give it to. You need to be very aware of where you're giving and how much you're giving, and it needs to be all budgeted out. But if you have the tendency to look at the money that you have left and say, I'm going to spend that, then this could be more useful for you. And then when you start small, you may be making a small impact on the things that you're giving to. You may not really be able to move the needle for a lot of organizations, but you may be able to do so for an individual that that needs help, or that needs money for something, or could really use the help, or a single mother or widow, or somebody who's going through a hard time, or is sick, or whatever it may be, who could use your help. A little could make a lot of difference to them. And in a similar way, even if you're giving to an organization, if you know that that organization is doing good, and you are seeing that that organization is doing good, then it will make a huge impact in your own heart, because you will actually feel that you're a part of something, that you are actually going and making a difference with your finances. And that will change the way that you look at your finances, and it will motivate you to continue moving forward in your giving. So how do we go about giving small? What is the process that I want you all to do, not just to give small, but to give in general, but especially when you're first starting out giving? Well, first of all, I want you to budget it into your life. I want to make sure that any giving that you do, whether it be planned or discretionary giving, if you're just giving to somebody randomly, have a set amount that you can do that with. If you're giving to something planned and systematically, then have a set amount that you do that with. But make sure that's budgeted into your life, because anything that you don't budget, you won't end up doing. And so that can be really dangerous. So let's make sure we budget that in, and that will be more effective in actually making these things happen in our lives. And then do your research, right? If you're giving to an organization, make sure that you know what that organization does. Make sure you know what they believe in. Make sure you know what you're funding, right? Where's your money going? How much of your money is actually going to the cause and not just towards the administrative costs of the organizations? That's a big deal as well. So just make sure that you are doing your homework. Make sure that they are being transparent with you and letting you know where your funds go. And then you can have more comfortability with giving and giving more in the future. And then also when you're giving, especially when you're giving small, give with joy and don't give with guilt. Because like I said at the beginning, 2 Corinthians 9:7 says that God loves a cheerful giver, right? Well, we don't want to be giving and feeling guilty that we didn't give more, or feel guilty that others gave more than us. We also don't want to be in a place where we're giving reluctantly, right? We don't want to give and it be, with a closed fist. We want to be open-handed with our giving and be joyful about it. Be happy that you can make a difference for somebody else, and keep your mindset on the difference that you can make and why you're doing what you're doing, not just keeping your mind on yourself and the other things that money could be used for. Because yes, you could spend that money, you could invest that money, but you chose to do something different with it, and that will allow you to keep financial balance. So look at the optimistic view of why you're giving and what your giving is going to do, and don't be so pessimistic about that. And at the end of the day, you can't give to everything. You can only give to what your money will stretch for you to give to. So choosing the things that are nearest and dearest to you and that you can, feel like you're making a difference in is so important. So don't feel guilty that you can't give to other things. Just know that the things you are giving to, that you can make an impact. And then as your maybe income increases or your giving increases or whatever, you can choose to give to those other things and really make a broader impact with your giving. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we're always reevaluating our giving and growing it systematically. So we want to make sure that when we are giving over and over again, that we're not just giving to an organization that is squandering our money. We want to make sure that everything is remains on the up and up. I mean, if we look at our investments over time, why would you not look at your giving over time and reevaluate your giving over time? I think you should definitely do that. And then, as your income grows, as your willingness and ability to give grows, then you should definitely increase it. Grow your giving. Grow the number of things that you give to, or the amount that you give to the things that you really care about. And that will make a bigger and bigger impact on you and how you view money. The more money that you pour into something, the more impact you're going to feel when you give to that thing. So make sure that you're doing that, and that will continue within the bounds of being financially balanced and doing all three things: giving, saving, and spending. That will continue to really make you feel like you're making an impact with your money that's not just for yourself.